You ever wonder how to gap rings for your Turbo LS application? I'll show you guys how I got my rings for this Turbo LS. Ring packs come with your pistons typically, and you get stage 1, 2, and 3. This is your top ring, this is your next ring, these are your oil support rings and your oil ring. Step 1, always have chickens nearby. So one thing to remember here is when you're gapping your rings, you need to be cylinder specific because each cylinder could be slightly different. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my top ring here, I'm going to tuck it in my cylinder like that. I'm going to take a piston here, line it up just right here. Just going to tap her down nice and easy here. Alright, now you can see that that ring gap right there is way too small. I'm just starting with a 10 thousandths feeler gauge, and you can see here that it is too big still, so it's less than 10 thousandths. Everybody uses different specs for their own builds. Personally, I'm going 30 thousandths on the top and bottom just to avoid anything crazy. This is the ring grinder. Just going to go ahead and slap my ring on there and grind it open a little. Alright, so important thing here to do is make sure your rings are flat, make sure they're butted up against the grinding disc evenly. And we're going to start on this side. We're just going to take some off here. These grinders, they move pretty fast too, so be careful that you don't take too much off at once. I like to do one side and then I flip it over and get a little bit more on this side. If you're not assembling the motor completely right now, I just like to cylinder number 7, and then I will write 7 underneath in case that gets smudged off. Then we know which cylinder goes to which ring pack. Alright, checking feeler gauge, we are so close. Alright, got a big gap in there now, and she just barely squeezes in there just nicely. Perfect, 30 thousandths gap. That's really it. Rings are gapped. Just repeat the process 7 more times. Hoping I can get that motor together and in this hot rod by the end of the month. Hopefully we're running. At least like the engine running, so y'all say a prayer for me.